This actually feels a little crazy to say, but there are previous versions of myself that actually used to feel weird charging people money for what came naturally to me. And when it comes to consulting and advising and giving strategic advice, especially when it comes to real estate and investing, I'm in a new era where this is what I get paid for. And it's interesting to look back on all the different times that I've done services for free when I could have been charging money for it. And I look back and I think, why didn't I charge for that? Why am I doing all this work for free? And I don't look back at it with judgment because I do believe that I was always just doing the best that I could. And when you know better, you do better. I'm very lucky when I look back on how I was raised and the money beliefs and money systems that laid the foundation for me. I think we're really healthy. But still, as we become adults, there's always an opportunity to continue learning and continue growing and exploring what we truly believe, what is actually holding us back, what beliefs are serving us, and what beliefs are taking away from or serving our clients and our customers. So I'll bring you back to my childhood. I was raised in just a normal neighborhood, normal suburb, and around, let's see, fifth and sixth grade, my parents became wealthy. And business was incredible for my parents. And we had a big come up. So we left the little suburb neighborhood and we went to 14 acres on a lake and a big, beautiful custom built home. And that was like a huge line that was noticeable for me growing up. Like, now we were rich. And my friends weren't shy about it. They would come over and say things like, "Oh my gosh, you must be rich." And I was like, yeah, my dad's successful. My parents do well, and it is what it is. I didn't really think too much of it, but I was always comfortable talking about money. I was always in a sales type environment where it was okay to talk about goals and giving value, and business in my family was never transactional. It was always relational. So there's certain things that I've noticed along the way where people do have certain lies that they believe about money. And look, I've read a lot of different books. I've listened to a lot of different influential people when it comes to beliefs on money. And some people might have like a spiritual framework where the Bible is what they would reference as their core beliefs about a lot of topics, including money. And money is actually mentioned in the Bible like a lot. The parables and all the other stories and illustrations, money comes up a lot. So it is a really important topic from a spiritual standpoint. And even if you're not into reading the Bible, there's still a lot of other philosophers and other cultures that would point all to the direction that, yeah, talking about money, being comfortable with money, knowing how to use money, it is vital. So one of the biggest lies that I think people get caught up in is that money is evil. And even this idea of like, well, even if you don't love money, but you're just like really, really into it, like that's bad. So I'm going to break this down because the way I see it is, in the Bible, it does say the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. So something that I really love are these oatmeal cream pies from Slattengrens in Schaefer, Minnesota. You can get a 3-pack for $7.99. You put those things in the freezer and then you cut them up into little triangles like you're eating little baby mini pizza. I love these things. I love them. They are so good, so tasty. And why I'm telling you this story is because I love money the way I love those frozen sections of oatmeal cream pie cookies. So when we say the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, the type of love we're talking about is idolatry, like obsessing, worshiping, placing money above truth, above God, above family. Like money is your God. So I do love money, but I don't love it to the point where I want to worship it or have it control me. So it's like a little trigger thing where if I hear someone say like, I love money, that used to be something like, oh, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. That was like so ingrained into me because of some of my religious upbringing. But I want to just challenge that, even for the people that are basing their thoughts on money based on biblical principles. Like, really, if someone says, I love money, like, that's okay. That's just as okay as if someone says, I love oatmeal cream pie cookies. So I just want to get that out of the way because I think for me, it was a little bit of a stumbling block. Like, I want to say that I love money, but I feel like I can't. So there's lots of different types of love. We know that, right? So we're going to start here that this idea that money is evil, like, where did that narrative come from? Well, I think it's when you pair up money with those that are worshiping it and they are idolizing it to the point where money comes over everything. Money is more important than relationships, and money trumps everything. It's greed. It's power hungry types of people that are using money in a way that's not good. So that's just a little food for thought on a lie that many of us were taught, that money is evil. So that can show up in your life in a few different ways. And I've noticed it in my own life. You know, these are things that I course correct. And I never show up on this podcast saying I have it all figured out. Actually, I'm showing up very humbly, letting you know, here's where I'm at in my journey. Join me, come along for the ride, because I'd love to have honest conversations and discussions about even little epiphanies that I've had along the way, because sometimes those little shifts are what help me to get on a better path, a more aligned path, and to find more inner alignment. Because sometimes when we have these lies that we believe about money, then we have this incongruence in our business, like undercharging. If you have a valuable service and you're not charging what you should be, it's this inner conflict type of feeling, right? So it can show up as overgiving as well. Like, oh, I charged them as my client, but now I'm going to give, all things that actually people would be happy to pay for. The other ways it could show up is if you're just not asking for a raise. Like, you show up, you're doing all the things and you're going above and beyond, and you're not asking to be compensated for the value that you provide. These are all important things that we need to watch for and notice as little boop, pop up on the radar, like, hey, how are you doing with money? How are you feeling with money? Do you have some beliefs that could be checked? Because here's what happens. When you actually go in then and honor those little boops that come up, you can check where your heart and your head are at and what you truly believe. It's an opportunity to let go of the old beliefs and instill new beliefs, and then watch the floodgates open. Because when we're a little bit off on a belief, it usually doesn't just affect one little piece of our life. It usually affects a lot of things in our life. So that's why I want to do this podcast today, is because I think it's just important to be open and honest about money, have conversations. I talk with my kids about money frequently. It's just a conversation piece that I want to make sure that they can think for themselves and they're not just buying into the lies. I'm always really careful with the kids that I don't say, like, they ask for things all the time, right? Every time we go to the store, they want stuff. We live a block away from an ice cream shop, so they want $10 malts pretty much every day. I'll go to the ice cream shop. Can I afford $10 malts? Yes, of course I can. But I don't like that. I don't think that's a very good value, and it's not very wise. And I could spend $30 and get a week's supply of ice cream, and it'll be all organic, and we'd be making it at home, and I would enjoy it more. So when I talk to my kids about value and priorities around money, I'm really conscious to not say things like, we can't afford that. We can't afford to buy ice cream every day. That's actually not true. We can afford that. It's just that we're not going to prioritize that. I don't want my children to believe that we can't afford the things that we prioritize. I want them to know that we can afford anything that we prioritize. I believe that's a lot healthier. So, here's where we can flip the script a little bit. So thankfully, I was taught this by my parents. My dad said that money is actually a report card. So when you are compensated, that is your report card for a job well done, or a job maybe you didn't do well done, so you didn't get as much. So being in sales and being an entrepreneur, I think this resonates very deeply. There's no other way for me to really reframe this for myself now that it's so locked in. When I earn income, I absolutely look at it as I served somebody. There was a transaction where someone received value in exchange for their money. So layer that with this thought also, because I don't believe that business is strictly transactional. Yes, transactions happen. I believe that business is spiritual and relational. I believe just about everything is spiritual. So that's going to get incorporated to all that I do. I just always look at how valuable is what I'm providing. Because if I'm providing something of value, something's off if I don't collect the right compensation for that. So an interesting thought is that most people actually have a subconscious belief that wanting money is greedy or that it's shameful. And that belief is a real block, okay? The way to reframe this idea, if you're wrestling with money as evil, the way to reframe it is that every dollar that you earn means that you helped someone. Helping people is good, right? So making money is also good. And this all ties back into being a person of integrity, being a person of high character, being someone that is showing up and being the best version of themselves and giving from a full heart. This is so important because when you're good at something and you charge for it, you're serving, you're not selling out. I think that's an important distinction because I do feel like giving things for free it's good and it's okay. And there's a strategy behind that. And it's generous, right? But at a certain point, why would you not charge for something that's valuable? It actually devalues what you're giving and it's going to limit you. So if your gift is speaking, for example, or coaching, or if your gift is healing, or your gift is advising, if your gift is art, your gift was never meant to be free forever. Like there is a time and a place to promo and to do pro bono type of work and sharing and things like that. I'm all for that. However, your gift was never meant to stay free forever. So let's just jump back into a couple of ideas around what it means to have a healthy relationship with money. So first and foremost, we're just going to say that money is a tool. This analogy might help you. Is fire good or bad? You say, well, Amy, I don't need to assign judgment to fire because we all know fire is good when it's cooking a meal, but fire is bad when it's your house that's on fire and there's people inside. So money is the same. Money is a tool and you don't have to assign judgment to it. Like when you hear about people making money or you hear about someone selling their business for a certain amount of money, you just got to notice yourself and how you respond to that. Or if you have a reaction to that where it's like, oh, you're judging another person because of money in it doesn't make sense to do that. The only reason that you would be having negative reactions about money is because you have pre-programmed something in your psyche, and it might have come from the way you grew up. It might have come from someone who had influence over you when you were young. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility now. It's my responsibility now to take ownership of how do I want to believe about money. I'm not going to just go the rest of my life and assume that everything that I've absorbed from my years on earth so far has been true and accurate and serves me. I need to be intentional about creating the beliefs that I actually want to believe that are in line with my purpose of why I'm here. So money actually allows greater service. Like there's so many good things about money. We could talk about bad things. We all know powerful, greedy money, those are all the things that we associate that aren't good. The good things are money allows greater service. Money allows contribution. Money allows freedom. Wealth can help feed families. It can build businesses. It can support ministries. Money creates opportunities. And you can actually desire abundance without becoming attached to it. So I do believe that having a level of detachment to money is really important. Is money is that your identity? Because if your identity depends on wealth, that's a little shaky ground. If you sacrifice integrity in order to get money, that would be something that points to the love of money, the unhealthy love and worship of money. If you become fearful of losing money, that's another thing that points towards loving money. You can place money above God, truth, family, your conscience, all these things. And that, like, if you can be honest with yourself and just say, like, yeah, I care more about that than any of the other things, then it's a red flag, right? So if you really believe that money itself, more dollars in your bank account or more dollars in your wallet, if you think that alone is going to provide peace, security, or self-worth, I would encourage you to check yourself. You might have moments of this, or you might really truly believe this deep down to your core. Peace and security and abundance actually originate in the subconscious connection to God, not in a bank account. So that's my personal belief on that. And I don't ever want to condemn riches or other people that are experiencing success. I'm always happy for people that are experiencing abundance. I'm always happy for people that are experiencing more money and more wealth. It's important to note that someone can be wealthy and spiritually free, and that someone can be poor and obsessed with money. So there's all sorts of different combinations there. And I'm going to encourage you not to really think about other people right now. I just want you to think about yourself. I want to think about what you believe about money and what type of behavior is around money. Are you hoarding money? Do you feel like you never are going to have enough? Like, I'm going to challenge you to write down 10 beliefs that you have about money that maybe give you a little pit in your stomach, that give you a little bit of anxiety when you think of this. So this is going to take a minute. If you want to do this exercise, sit down, get quiet. I made a list of like 30 of these money beliefs that weren't serving me. And the exercise is then to make this list and then write out the opposite and start embodying and embracing and dwelling on the opposite. And I can tell you that this worked very well for me. It helped me to identify the things that I was worrying about, things that I had fear around, in the areas that I was actually loving money in an unhealthy way. And once you can be honest with yourself, that's when the growing happens. If you're stuck in denial or like, I don't love money, I don't worship money, like, oh, really? Wow, that's really impressive. How else are you perfect? So, there are certain people that really don't struggle with it, and they really just have like so much peace and they're not worried, and you can tell. But I think a lot of people do struggle with the love of money in a very covert way. So let me just think back to my list. I wish I had it. So I actually tape it on the inside of my mirror in my bathroom, all the new affirmations. And I don't read through it every day, but it's always there, and I always see it, and subconsciously it's in my mind and in my vision field. So I think that's important to finish this exercise by writing out 10, 20 fear-based money thoughts or beliefs that you have, and then flipping it to the opposite and posting up those real truths in a place where you can see them daily. After I uncovered a lie and told myself the truth, I felt a lot of peace. So maybe in another episode, I'll actually walk you through all of my old poor beliefs. That might be kind of fun, right? Then I'll just be all exposed and you can maybe relate to some of them. So I think as we wrap up here, I want to just share with you a money affirmation. So as I said, I am a spiritual person. I love incorporating spirituality into everything that I do because I'm very connected to this idea that I'm here on earth for a reason. God and I decided, Amy, you're going down to earth. You're going to hop in that skin suit and you're going to live this life. You're going to experience every range of emotions, and you're going to live as Amy, and you're going to have this challenge. You're going to have this opportunity, and you're just go for it, girl. And now I'm down here and I'm like, wait, what do we talk about? Why am I here? Like, I got to get realigned, right? So I often come back to some spiritual affirmations that help me to get centered and focused and really just have peace about why I'm here, what I'm doing, and what is, a healthy way to go about the day. So you can use this as an affirmation or a prayer. I'm just going to read it to you. God is the source of my supply. Wealth flows to me through many channels. I neither fear money nor worship it. I use it wisely, lovingly, and constructively. My true security is in God, and all my financial affairs are governed by divine wisdom. Thank you for joining me on this episode of High Agency, where we talk about personal choices that have an effect on your life and generations to come. I'm glad that you joined today, and I hope you will follow the podcast. I'm getting ready to start hosting guests in the near future, maybe in the next month or two. But in the meantime, I'm just letting y'all get to know me and talking about whatever I feel like. So thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.